Good evening. So this is a additional video today. I, if you haven't noticed, I've shifted around. I moved my whole office around, and some you get a different angle. So anyway, I want to comment on a couple of things tonight. This is not Deacon Jody Daily. This is Deacon Jody Daily Dose, if you want to call it that. This is an additional video that reflects upon a couple of things that have come to mind today, and I thought you may be interested in. First, let me just tell you that in life, we have many experiences. So, in my experience, uh, I have my youth, my high school, my college, my Navy, my post Navy. So most of my life is post Navy with um, my, getting engaged to uh, my best friend's sister and then marrying her and being married for, you know, um, 45 years, 46 years. And, you know, and then you look back on your other years and you wonder where you were. And what prompted this was I was listening to a concert of the Doobie Brothers, and it reminded me of where we were many years ago. And I thought about the fact that who we are now is a lot about the foundation we laid it before, but it's how we modified that foundation. And let me tell you what I'm thinking about. So, when I was young, um, cradle Catholic, went to the Navy, and I can be honest with you, this is almost embarrassing to say, but there was a point on the ship on a cruise where I was saying the rosary, and instead of the Hail Marys, I was saying Our Fathers because I didn't know the rosary, which is a weird thing because I was raised Catholic. I should have known what the rosary was, but I wasn't uh, trained properly. But at, years later, when I ran for office, um, I had a rosary in my hand every day, and as I drove from house to house knocking on doors, I said the rosary, and I said Hail Marys. So I knew then what it was. Somewhere between the Navy and then, I learned my way. So I don't know what that means, except to say that we can all be forgiven for not knowing what we don't know and be graced for what we then um, find our way to. So, the purpose of this video is to say this. Many of us have in our past um, maybe loves that we had, or um, hatred that we had, or whatever. And what we need to do is we need to fast forward to today, look back to then, and say, how does that affect me now? If it's affecting us in a way of sinfulness, then I think we need to go to confession. If it's affecting us in a way of um, affirmation as to where we are now, then I think we're in a good position to say, thank you, Lord Jesus. And so we're either in needing confession or needing to be thankful. All of that to say that um, we find ourselves today in a way that God blessing, blessings us in different ways. Let me give you an example. So I was contacted recently by somebody that I'm not going to get into the details. Someday I might, but there's a lot of water under the bridge that came to the point where he was told in his spiritual journey that he needed to rely on me for moving forward. I met with him for spiritual direction, and we're working on that. My point of that is, he came to me. I didn't go to him. I wasn't asking for that, but it's lifted me in a sense that his spiritual journey brought him to me. Now, the other side of that is that I was in a position at a church for a long time, and that whole thing has changed. And that brings me to the point of the fact that God moves us from one place to another place, and maybe somewhere in between is where we're supposed to be. I don't know what all that means, but what I do want to share tonight is a simple message, and that is the message of faith. And here's the message of faith. A lot of people confuse faith with belief, or faith with your faith, like your religion. I think faith is an action word. And here's how I describe it. If I am going to get on a plane and I believe that the pilot can fly that plane, that's one thing. But when I step my foot on the plane, I've acted on that belief, and that's faith. If I believe that the lights will come on when the light switch is clicked up, that's one thing. But when I action it and flick it, I put action behind the belief that the lights will come on. They do. Now those are simplistic things. Think about it this way: if a couple of years ago, there's a guy that walked across the um, Niagara Falls. I think Big Bull or so, I don't remember what it was, but anyway, there's a story that goes around that from 30 years prior, where a guy walked across the falls and came back. And when he came back, he asked his friend, "Do you believe I can go across the falls?" He said, "Yeah, so yeah, I believe you can do it." He says, "Okay, I'm gonna go." And he went and he came back. And then he said, "Do you believe I can push this wheelbarrow across?" He said, "Yeah, I just saw you did it." He did it. And they said, "Do you believe I could push this wheelbarrow full of bricks?" He said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So 3 times he asked his friend if he could do it. He said, "Yes," and he went across. Once alone, 2 with the wheelbarrow, 3 with the wheelbarrow full of stuff. When he came back, he says, "Hey, you think I could go across this with the wheelbarrow full of stuff?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, get in and let's go." Well, if his friend gets in, that's faith. If his friend doesn't, that's belief. Difference between faith and belief. The reason I share this with you is because today I think we're faced with the difference between belief and faith. And I think that what we're called to do is to act on our belief and evidence our faith. Um, I know this is a weird video because it's unusual, but I wanted to say it because I was listening to some music, and the music prompted me to share with you tonight. And so I hope that you are encouraged by this video. If it is, like it and share it. If you're not, ignore it. God bless. I love you. You pray for me, I'll pray for you. God bless.